I welcome to the session the location of stores. Stores location refers to choosing, fixing or selecting a site for the stores building in an organization. So where to locate the stores? Whether it is nearby the production departments or it is far away from the production departments. The location also means proper placing of materials inside the stores so that they can be easily identified, located and issued. Stores location to a very large extent influences the efficiency of the manufacturing department or any service departments, and as such it is a higher management function. It is too important as an aspect to be left to the decision of the line management. Location of the stores must be based on the activity relationship between the stores and the different production departments. A broad concept of stores location therefore is, stores location is the process of selecting the appropriate site for the store building. This selection in the organization should be made and he has to decide where to place the materials inside the stores. This will provide an efficient and a prompt service to the user departments. Now we shall see how these materials will be located or your stores will be located. Whether it is located as centralized or decentralized. So we will see what will happen to the production departments, that is what all the benefits production departments can derive from centralized stores and decentralized stores. The structure of stores is a major factor in the organization. A very big factory having a large number of product lines may have a main store which can serve as a base with decentralized stores for each unit of production, preferably located as near the unit as possible. Another possibility is that the main stores can be completely eliminated and supplies effected directly to the different stores' requirements. In a small company, one store would be adequate to serve all the units. A large company marketing a variety of goods may have a central warehouse of the finished goods at its factory location. Besides a large number of stock points at various cities, a small company on the other hand can have just one simple warehouse from which the entire distribution can take place. Centralization or decentralization, then that is the matter of convenience. However, one basic organizational feature must be observed. The entire store setup should be under the unified control of one department, namely one senior controller for stores in charge. So centralized department here will mean any one single department which is receiving all the stores and issuing to the production departments. And we have decentralized stores, that is the stores attached to the different production departments. Sometimes a combination of centralized with the decentralized sub-stores may also be there. The main store will be centralized and sub-stores may be decentralized in an organization. So whether it is centralized or decentralized or centralized with the sub-stores as decentralized may be according to the convenience of the receipt and the issue of the materials. Now we shall see what are the advantages of a centralized store. A wide range of goods is provided for all the users as it is possible in case of the smaller organizations. So inventory can be kept as minimum also, and this is especially so in case of loose tools, fixtures, then equipments and spares. Better control is possible over the inventory. Then as centralized stores are normally bigger in size, even bulky items could be stored easily. Bigger storehouses ensure better and more modern handling methods, whether it may be mechanical or automatic methods. Then delivery at single point decreases the cost of delivery. The receipt and the inspection of goods can be more efficiently organized. Then the standardization opportunities can be improved. The stock turnover is increased and the probability of deterioration during the storage is correspondingly reduced. Unnecessary duplication of records takes place in case of decentralized stores, but in case of centralized stores, the recording work will be reduced. But in decentralized stores, accounting work will be multiplied and will have more of clerical job. But this can be avoided in centralized stores. So the centralized stores provides a very wide range of goods, and again the control over the inventory is very easy, and we have the delivery at single point as a convenient one. Then the receipt and the inspection of the goods is made convenient. Then the standardization opportunities will be improved and stock turnover can be increased. So these are all the major benefits in case of centralized stores. Next is we'll pass on to the disadvantages of the centralized stores. In case of centralized stores, extra handling of materials is involved and more staff will be required for transportation from stores to the various production units. If the system is not well organized, there may be severe shortages at the workplaces, and this will cause unnecessary interruptions in production. Inefficiency can also result in production maintaining some buffer inside the unit, which can lead to the shrinking of the workspace and pilferage because of the absence of the security. More internal documentation may become necessary, and in case of fire, a greater loss will get incurred and bringing the production into a halt. So we'll have the advantages and disadvantages of the centralized store. The decentralized stores have more advantages, but the main disadvantage is the cost of maintaining the decentralized store is very high, and once again we have to maintain or we have to control the inventory in a very efficient manner. Otherwise, inventory control will become a very big question mark. Let us now see about the principles of good store location and the layout. What are all the basic points to be noted in case of store location and the layout? First is economy in cost of transportation. Location of a store building or a store room has to bear on the cost of transportation. The store location should be such that unnecessary material handling cost is avoided. For example, store building should be located within the factory premises or near to the place of the work where the materials are repaired. While selecting the place of a store building, the material handling facilities for transportation purpose from the store or to the store should be taken into consideration. Proper rail slidings and road facilities to the store should be ensured so that the materials can be easily brought in to the receipt counters. So economy in cost of transportation is said to be more important. Next is approachability by road and rail transport. Raw materials like coal, oak, the manganese, the ores should be stored in open place and in such a way that they can be easily removed by trucks, cranes and the conveyors. Also, the location of the store should be approachable by road or a rail transport. Next is the efficient service. Location of the stores should result in extending efficient service to the user departments. As a general rule, raw material stores, forgings, castings, etc. should be located near to the shops where the initial operations are performed. Finished part stores should be located in proximity of the shipping operations. Jigs and fixtures should be stocked near the materials. Tools and supplies should be required on daily basis, should be stored near the production shops. So the location of the stores must give an efficient service to the production departments. Reduce fire risk. Materials should be stored in locations which will minimize the fire hazards. Take for example, inflammable materials like petrol should be stored separately. Consumable materials such as paints, oil, grease, cotton waste should be kept away from one another and from the general stores. Oxidizing agents should be kept away from the combustible materials. So safety measures must be there whenever the inflammable materials and other combustible materials are maintained. Now safety and security. For security reasons, storeroom should be away from the main gate of the premises. Storeroom should not be located near the factory wall where they are likely to be scaled by the outsiders. So admission should be restricted for the outsiders to enter into the stores. Main stores should be located in such a way that the suppliers' representatives, the drivers and others do not have any easy access to it. Then the minimization of the risk of spoilage and deterioration. While selecting a site for the stores, then the store should be given due importance and the site should be selected based on the temperature available, humidity and also the lighting requirements. So this certain materials must be stored in the temperature controlled storerooms and again the lighting requirements needed. So the risk of spoilage and deterioration should be avoided by selecting a suitable site having proper temperature, proper lighting, etc. The flexibility for future expansion. While selecting the store site, future expansion must also be considered. Sufficient space should be available for the expansion in future and then to provide space for storing the materials in future. So the crowding, the congestion should be avoided and we should avoid the need for shifting the stores from one location to the another location at a later stage. So if there is an expansion of the production departments, there may be a requirement of storing additional materials in the stores. So while selecting and establishing a place for stores, the future expansion should also be kept in mind. Then overall integration of the factors. Since it is almost impossible to satisfy each and every factor, store's location should be such that it results in the overall integration of all the factors. The gangway should be very wide enough to ensure the smooth movement of stores, trolleys and must facilitate easy withdrawal of parts from the bins and the racks. The obstructions of all the forms such as poles etc. should be eliminated. The store racks should not prevent the normal movement of air. In the production area, a leaking proof is immediately noticed, then it should be properly removed. We must ensure constantly the stores is totally waterproof and it should not damage the material stored. In a vertical stacking, the load should be distributed evenly and should be broken by intervening shelves. A location system should be so devised that it may indicate precisely the exact position of all the items stored inside the storeroom. The store's area should be equipped with a handling equipment such as cranes, lifts, hoists and other weighing scales. So these are all the major principles of a store location and layout. So the transportation cost should be there, availability of the transports, the efficient service of the stores, then the risk of fire reduction, safety and security of the stores, avoiding the risk of pilferage, spoilage and deterioration, providing the space for future expansion, then providing the gangways for the movement of materials, obstructions should be eliminated or it should be removed, and the stores racks must not prevent the normal movement of air. So proper ventilation should be there. Any leaking roof is there, it must be properly attended to it and it must be removed again, it should be corrected. Then in case of vertical stack, it should be distributed evenly by the intervening shelves. then the location should be so devised that it will indicate exactly where the item lies. Next we can see about the systems of location. Efficient location system requires listing and classifying of items to be stored, determining the space requirements, relating the space requirements to space availability, determining the methods of storing and locating the materials within the store. Arranging for the easy location of material within the stores requires use of scientific principles of store's layout. Heavier and bigger items should be stored near the issue window, while lighter and smaller items should be located in the bins and racks far from the issue counter. Similarly, heavy items should be kept in the lower racks near the ground level, while the lighter items should be kept in the upper racks. The frequency of the issue of material should be considered while deciding its location within the store. For efficient and economic receipts on the issues of materials, the fast-moving items should be stored nearby the issue counter. Systematic arrangement of the items in the store is also necessary for their easy and a quick location at the time of issue, for which different methods were adopted by different organizations. Some organizations try to arrange the items sequentially according to the part number. Some try to arrange product-wise or project-wise or even the department-wise, while others arrange according to their code numbers. So whatever may be the arrangement of the items, whether it is as per the part number or the code number or product-wise or department-wise, etc., whatever may be the method of arranging the items, it must be made in a systematic manner and also the consistent following of a particular type or a particular method should be done. Now, approaches to the store's location. The problem of storing the materials inside the storeroom is tackled with the help of the three approaches. First is the fixed location, second is the random location, and third one is the zonal location. We have three approaches to the store's location, namely fixed location, random location and zonal location. First we shall see about the fixed location. Under this approach, a specific fixed place is assigned to each item of material. The allocation of space is made on any one of the following bases: on the basis of supplier, or on the basis of the similarity of the items, or on the basis of the joint issue of the items, and on the basis of the size and the frequency of the issues. Now, this fixed location can be based on the size and the frequency of use, and this is said to be of more economical in nature. And this is also considered to be an efficient one. Now, under this approach, the fast moving items are stored nearest the point of issue and the slow moving items are stored deep into the stores. So based on the supplier, we can easily identify the material, or based on the similarity of the items or the size and the frequency. So though we have four bases, namely the supplier, the item similarity, the joint issue and the size and the frequency of the issue, we say as already the size and the frequency of the issue is said to be the most efficient method. So all fast moving materials will be placed at the entrance and the slow moving items will be made available at the last. Next is the random location. Under this approach, the materials are stored at any vacant place available in the store. So this is workable in nature, where the stores function is operated by 2 or more persons and the storing is available or required only for few items. When only few items are dealt in by the storekeeper, it can be easily memorized by the storekeeper, and this is said to be a more unscientific method. We don't have any systematic method of storing. So whatever that is received, he will be storing it. So randomly we are storing it. So that is not a proper way of approach. Though we have this approach as theoretically, at this random location is said to be not useful in the organizations wherein they are dealing with a many number of items. Zonal classification. The zonal classification will depend upon the three zones. One for the bulk stock, second one is for the reserving stock, and third one is for all the indirect materials. So we can have three main zones. One is for the bulk issue of materials, second one is all the reservation stocks, that is for the emergency use, and third one is for all the indirect materials like spares in the consumable stores. And there is not hard and fast rule to divide the zone. According to the nature of the organization or according to the requirements of the production departments, the zones can be classified. Even based on types of materials, liquid materials and non-liquid materials, even on the basis of the value, or even on the basis of the fast moving, non-moving and slow moving. So those zones may be on any basis according to the convenience of the storekeeper. This is somewhat scientific in nature, though, because we are classifying the items according to the different purposes. So according to the three approaches, the best approach is said to be the zonal location. The second best is said to be the fixed location based on the size and the frequency of the issue. But this random location, though it is considered to be an approach, it is said to be an unscientific one. So that is not giving much of benefits to the storekeeper. Next we can pass on to the coding of the location. How to code the location. As the codification of the materials helps in identifying and describing the various items of materials, similarly location coding can also help in locating specific item in a store's area. Location coding is especially desirable where large number of items are stored in big godowns located at different places. So we have many locations of these stores. So in this case the coding is desirable. The principles followed for coding of materials can be followed for the location coding also. Either it may be alphabetical or numerical or according to the area or the district or a zone, etc. Whatever may be the method of classification or codification, the storekeeper finds it convenient, we can code up the locations. Now we can see about the principles of locating the materials within the store. First one is the characteristics of the material. The fast moving item, the heavy items, the consumable items, inflammable and dangerous items, then the rubber items or costly items can be easily classified and it should be located as it is convenient for the storekeeper to take it as and when necessary. And normally the preferred location in the stores will be as closer to the counter possible. This issue counter place, now nearing place to the issue counter will be given only for the fast moving items. And once again, heavy and bulky items will be nearby the gate or nearby the point of use or nearby the gangways. This oil, grease and other items will be in a separate store. It should not be mixed with the other stores. And once again, inflammable and dangerous items must be in a fireproof place and it must be an isolated place with the other fire extinguishers. The rubbers and the other rubber parts will be placed in an air-conditioned store. And all the costly items must be kept under a lock and key and should be kept away from the stores, a store's entrance. Next we shall pass on to the safety and security of the stores. How the stores should be kept. What are the safety measures? What are the security measures that has to be maintained? The term safety says that the safety of materials in the stores, the facilities that are used and the material handling equipments and the safety of the personal life. Now we shall see what are all the safety measures a storekeeper has to follow. First one is in case of accidents. One of the important responsibility of a storekeeper is to prevent the accidents taking place in the stores. Accidents may cause damage to the materials or the machines or to the facilities, and sometimes it may cause injury to the men also. Men here means the personnel. The worst to happen is a fire accident where the entire premises will be completely gutted. It is therefore necessary that all the precautions should be made to avoid the accidents. Now we shall see what are all the major causes for the accidents and how to avoid these accidents. The first main cause is materials falling from the racks. Sometimes the materials may fall from the racks if it is not properly placed. This is normally happening in a store and it can be easily controlled also. This accident, that is the materials falling from the racks, is mainly because of the carelessness of the personnel by not keeping the materials in a balanced and a safe manner on the racks. It can also arise from the inadequacy of the space in the stores and sometimes the inadequacy of the space in the racks itself. And the racks should be designed properly to acquaint or to accommodate the materials in a scientific manner. And once again, safety precautions in the rack should be made, and if it is not adequate enough, then there must be some guard on the sides of the rack to prevent the goods falling from. So materials falling from the racks is said to be a common occurrence, or it is a common cause for the accidents, and it can be easily controllable by having proper racks and proper safety precautions in the racks. Next is the removal of obstacles. See, the wires, unwanted ropes, steel rods, empty cartons may be kept carelessly on the gangways, which may cause the people to trip over them. The things should not lie around anywhere, and this rule should be enforced. The obstacles must be properly removed then and there after unloading or after arranging the materials in the racks. There should be some places to hold all these paper wrappings, empty cartons, or the strings that is used to tie the materials, etc. So the obstacles must be properly removed. Then injury arising from lifting heavy loads or normal loads unscientifically. It is necessary to provide a right type of mechanical aid to all the store's personnel for handling the materials. But there may be a wrong notion that the labor is cheap and all the work can be done by the human itself without any machines or without any scientific material handling. But the result will be in this way. The productivity will be low if the material handling is done by the human. Second, the accidents may arise by lifting the heavy loads, and it may cause injury to the workers and damage to the materials. This type of accident may take place usually when placing the loads on a high rack or when taking them from the high rack. A typical case is of a person attempting to climb up a ladder with a load on his head. So in this case, the ladder itself may give way and cause injuries to the men. Quite often, the operator should know how to use the material handling equipments correctly, and supervisors should ensure them also. There is always a correct method of performing even the simplest of the manual task. This holds good even for lifting a heavy weights. A wrong method may cause strain on one's body, resulting in injuries. So lifting of loads, heavy loads from the racks or normal loads unscientifically may cause damages. Next is pollution with the waste. This usually happens When the assigned space is not adequate, or the racks are not bolted securely, or even the bins jut out from the racks and so on. Such accidents may happen when picking materials from the bins or placing materials in them. So the bins may collapse if the racks are not properly bolted. Next is falling off while climbing to reach the upper shelves. These accidents arise from having improper ladders or when the men are not trained to climb the ladders and carry a heavy weight. So when you are going for the upper shelves, then this may cause an accident. Then injury to the hands arising from lifting or handling of materials without wearing protective gloves. So in many cases, protective gloves are prescribed for handling the materials to prevent the injury to one's hands while handling a sharp-edged steel plates or chemicals or any other acids, etc. People avoid gloves mainly for two reasons, because they may have their palms sweat when they wear, or they may feel it as discomfort, and sometimes they may be lazy to wear them. But the protective gloves must be used by the men or the personnel to handle the materials, without which it cannot be handled. Now, by having these gloves in their hands, they can avoid the accidents or they can prevent injury to their own hands. Next is spilling on oil, grease or even water spillages. Oil, water and grease may spill on the floor in spite of any precautions and care that has been taken by the personnel. But it should be a standing notion, or it may be a standing rule, that no sooner the spillage occurs, then it should be wiped out clean and then it should be removed. Because the oil, grease and water may not be noticed by the man who is having heavy loads in his hands or on his head, may not notice it. So in those cases, the accidents may occur. Then injury caused by the nails left on the empty cases. This is a common cause of injury in all the stores. Boxes when opened should be immediately kept in a place for them, and all the nails, steel bands, etc. should be removed to prevent the injury to the workers who is handling them. So whenever the empty cases are placed, then the nails and the steel bands in the empty cases should be removed. Then injury from corrosive acids. In case of handling the corrosive acids, warning labels should be pasted on the material or the items with a danger sign. This warning labels and the danger sign may warn or may give a signal to the personnel who is handling them. And again, all the containers having the inflammable items, the corrosive acids must be given with a label and with the proper instructions on the label. Then dropping of goods on one's feet without any protective boots. When the personnel is engaged in lifting the heavy materials, then they must be given protective boots and he has to wear it and then lift it. So most of the accidents listed now are caused by not taking reasonable precautions, and it may be due to the carelessness and indiscipline of the personnel, and in case of not following the standing instructions. Accidents may also occur due to the poor facilities like poor lighting, then not well performing racks and badly laid out bins, etc. Good supervision in the matter of observance of all the safety rules cannot be overstressed. Management should indicate the instructions and educate their own workers advise their workers and encourage them to change their attitudes and give priority to the good housekeeping. A store resembling more like a slum with the goods strewn around in a very haphazard manner is not a place to work. So the workers' morale and efficiency may go down. So proper housekeeping and proper maintenance of stores is very important to avoid the accidents in case of handling the materials. Security in all stores should be reasonably adequate. If materials in the stores are considered as money, the reason will be obvious. One standing rule is that no outsider should be permitted into the storage racks. To start with, the building should be well constructed, the doors should be strong and provided with the efficient locks, and all windows should be provided with the iron grills or wire mesh. It is necessary to ensure that the windows are closed properly every day. The rolling shutters must be popular and effective in this regard. The internal layout is arranged in such a way that there is a spacious issue counter where employees can obtain materials without entering the stores. The issue counter should be segregated from the main storage area and preferably it should be closed. Stock yards should be enclosed with adequate high fencing. For extra protection, there should be barbed wire fence along the top of the wall. It is better to keep the number of gates to the minimum, preferably just one. Some stores require special security measures. In a bonded store, when dutiable materials are kept, theft will not be accepted by the excise officer as an excuse for any discrepancy noticed in the store. Similarly, special care has to be taken in quarantine stores in the receipt section. Hence, the goods which are awaiting for inspection, the loss of uninspected materials may result in a faulty or even a dangerous product reaching a customer. The third case relates to the security in a store where the customer's materials have been kept. These may be special gifts or dyes or even valuable raw materials. So security is considered to be very important now. Now we shall see the safety of material handling equipment. Normally, the safety rules pertaining to the mechanized material handling equipment will consist of the following. First one is, when the driver leaves the vehicle, the handbrake should be properly applied and the equipment must not be left unattended while the motor is in a running condition. Vehicles should not be reversed until the operator has ensured that the way is clear. If possible, another person must guide him. The vehicles should be switched off when lubricated. Then the load being shifted must be securely fastened. Sometimes a red flag must be hoisted on to any load that extends beyond the sides, front or near the vehicle. When the truck is being loaded or unloaded by a crane, all the personnel must be asked to clear the place and they should not be allowed to stand on the place where it is unloaded or loaded. Now we shall see the safety precautions for certain material handling equipments. First one is cranes. The truck cranes must be properly blocked and be on a firm footing before lifting a heavy load with a low bow. The employees must stand clear of the crane swing and keep out of the suspended loads. Riding on the crane blocks or crane loads should be strictly prohibited. Operators should not leave the cranes without disengaging the clutch and applying all the safety locks. Cranes with the long booms must be secured along with the strong winds. Crane booms and booms on other motorized equipment must not be operated closer than 10 feet from the live high voltage overhead electrical wires. In case of forklift trucks, periodic checking of brakes, steering apparatus, horn, lift mechanism, control guards and the tires must be there. Pushing the lift truck in order to start its engine should be prohibited. These trucks must be parked in such a way that they do not interfere with the passage of other vehicles or persons. Never park within 6 feet of the railway vehicles. Driving over the objects lying on the floor or the roadway should be avoided. Driving over scrap wood or any other pipes or any other materials may cause a damage to the truck and may shift or topple the load. The driver's hands should not be wet or greasy. Drivers should travel at a safe speed, slowing down while making the turns. Watch for the persons who may rush out in front of the truck and for other opposing vehicles. When driving without a load, keep the forks about 6 inches above the ground. Avoid starting and stopping suddenly. This may cause skidding or toppling the load. Do not overload the truck beyond its capacity. Never carry a load so high that may affect the driver's vision. Carrying loose materials on forks should be avoided. Use pallets wherever possible. Never allow anyone to stand under the elevated loads. The load should be picked up under the center of its weight while lifting the load. The load should be tightened against the backrest before moving the truck. Make sure to return the tilt to vertical before lowering or picking up the load. Lower the load very slowly. A sudden stop will cause the machine to tilt forward, tipping it over. Warn other employees to stand clear when stacking or removing materials. So this is an example for the safety of cranes on the forklifts, which is popularly used in the production area. So safety of the material handling equipments other than the items stored in the stores should be taken care of by the storekeeper. So you can easily understand the safety measures to be taken in stores to avoid the accidents like falling of materials from the racks, then the obstacles in the pedestrian car and injury regarding the lifting of loads unscientifically, then pollution of the bins, then falling off when climbing to reach the upper shelves, then injury to the hands of the workers who are not wearing the protective gloves, and again slipping on the oil or grease, injury that is caused by the nails or the other steel rods in the empty cases, injury from the corrosive acids, and injury because of not wearing the protective boots. So we must have the safety precautions in a store to avoid all these accidents, and the safety of the personnel working in the stores and the personnel who is engaged in transporting the materials and the equipments that are used in handling the materials then it should be taken care of, and it must be of more importance in any organization.